Hello, Sensei Cisco here. Today we are on the floor talking about the Macuar. Now this is a mobile Macuar. As you can see, it can be faceted to a wall or used in your gym bag. The purpose of this is to develop the striking points of the hands. Other Macuars can be used for the feet. So today we'll be focusing specifically on the strike points of the hand. For a lot of the video, I'm going to be up a little high. You won't be able to see my face, as we will be talking just about the hands and striking the board. Now this Macuar does consist of several planks. This way it allows for compression on strike. You're not hitting a hard block of wood here. This is great for people starting out so you don't break any knuckles, but primarily the purpose of this is to find angles and striking points. Now, we have several spots on the hand. First off, the first two knuckles are what we use for actual punching. Now, these are much larger than the others, so they're able to take a broader force without breaking. They're also in line with the radius and ulna of the arm, so as it leads up, the bones line and you get compression through all the joints of the body. Now, your posture is a huge part of this as well. Please see our video about stances and positioning. Today, we're just talking about where we hit. First two knuckles for a straight punch. We then have the back of the wrist. Now, this is just beyond the wrist on the back of the palm, sort of a crane hit. We're not striking the wrist itself, but just beyond, where all of the phalanges come together. You get this nice flat surface on the back of the hand. Next, we have the inside, or the ridge hand here, just to the side of the first knuckle. Now this will be struck as such. We'll get to that in a little bit, because we'll actually need to change the position of the board. Next, we have the nugete, or knife hand shuto strike. The strike itself is going to be done near the base of the blade. So you're not going to strike with the meat itself. Rather just below, near where the palm heel comes to the side, striking in on this point. Now you want to avoid the pinky knuckle. This is very small, very sensitive, very easy to fracture. And of course the palm heel, the section just below the thumb, near where it meets the wrist. So let's take a look at how we can use our Macuar to do focus striking on these points. Now the first, and for most studios, most schools, very first introduction is going to be those first two knuckles. Many will do the palm heel just to try and get the idea of how to press. They are both solid. What I will do is I encourage people to do break boards with the palm heel first, allowing your knuckles to develop on the Macuar before you start breaking anything. But when we strike, we're going to look to push straight down, lining up with our solar plex. Think about making a triangle with your fingers. This should meet in front of the middle of your body. My posture, I am up on my toes, sitting high on my heels. I then bow in the middle, so I don't want to bend my back. Bending your back collapses your core. This is not good. Don't do it. Keep your back tight. Strong core and lean over top. This way you bring your solar plex to the target. Just like in sparring or in fighting, you position yourself to your target. Don't squeeze and mess up your posture. When you lose your posture, you lose your power, you lose your endurance. So we're going to draw back, striking straight down. I want to meet as I come and switching out. First two knuckles should press. Now there are two ways we can do this. One is this vertical strike. When punching downward, I prefer this position as it lines up the body a little bit better. But you can turn completely, getting the first two knuckles to press down, having your palm face into yourself. Make sure you have a tight fist, curling the fingers in, thumb on bottom, and give a good 10 rep on each hand. We'll go 5 today, just for the purposes of the video. Ich, ni, san, shi, Go. Now you'll notice every time I hit, I'm not bouncing back. I want to press. This is, again, what those little splits are for, to allow you to press and really put your weight into it. Feel the pressure of the strike. Now you can, of course, do the bounce back. You want to snap, coming in kick, itch, knee, sun, cheat, go. See if you can make it walk like that. If you're able to make it walk, that means you're getting a good contact and the energy is reverberating out from the floor. You get that little bounce. But this is great for, again, those first two knuckles, any of those zuke punches that you'll be doing. Next up, let's talk about that palm heel. Similar idea, we're going to lean forward, left hand in support. Now this isn't holding your weight. You're not gonna wait for it and then fall. No, instead this is your aimer. Think about how you do your blocks. You wanna find your target. Use your hands to find your target, and then once you have it, strike, deflect, and hit. Similar ideas, sort of gets your body into that mindset of touch, get contact, hit. When I strike, I'm going to bring my fingers back and in. Keep that thumb away from the base. We don't want that tucked, as you'll crush your thumb. Think of almost like putting your thumbnail on your first knuckle. Wrist pulled back, and we press. Itch, knee, sun, sheet, go. Again, I'm pushing into it, getting a full lockout on my arm. Next, let's flip it to the back of the hand. This sort of crane position. Here I'm going to take my fingers, pull them together like I'm a nice piece of pasta, but pull it in to myself. Almost like I'm going to pull my fingers into my elbow. This helps push the wrist forward for the strike. Now, the position, we don't want this turned up, down. Instead, I'm going to turn it in comfortably to the middle. As I draw, I'm going to pull from the solar plex like I'm pulling a string. I touch, pull the string, and extend. Itch, knee, sun, sheet, go. Again, pressing as we move. Next, nigate, striking with the wrist. Now for this, I'm going to change my position a little bit so I can get a better angle on my arm. I like to come in a little bit lower, so I'm going to drop my heels, kicking my toes out, letting me drop in a little bit more. Again, nigate strike isn't typically done forward. It's going to be a bend to the arm. So we want to get in a little bit closer, bringing our hips closer to the floor so we can maintain that bend. Now, I like to set up from this low block position, practicing my low block at the same time, finding my target, and strike. Straight back, tight core, and itch, knee, sun, sheet, go. Here I'm bowing into it a little bit, trying to push my weight in. Straight wrist throughout. Now, realize I did forget to mention this before, so I hope you stuck around the whole video. Punches, straight wrist. Palm heel has a bend, crane has a bend. Nigate has a straight wrist. Ridge hand has a straight wrist. So, good rule of thumb, if you're hitting anywhere around or with the knuckles, keep that wrist straight. This will allow support in the arm. If you punch with a bent wrist, all you're gonna do is collapse the fingers. And trust me, that don't feel good. All right, next up, let's talk about that ridge hand. Now I discussed we will have to change this position simply because in order to hit it, I don't want to have to come down on the floor and that's goofy. So we're going to lift it up. Instead, I can use my legs to sort of help support this position. Oh, I'm going to take my knees, web my feet together at the bottom, just like a good jiu-jitsu block, scissoring the legs, and I'm going to take the arm, drawing in. Now my back knee, I'm going to turn out so I'm not slamming wood into the side of my foot, because this is going to be braced by your leg. Bottom leg, hold in the bottom. You don't want a crazy tight squeeze because this will change your angle. Hold it loose and strike in. Ready? First knuckle, along the side. Here we are pulling the thumb underneath, fingers taut and back. Ich, ni, san, shi, go. My legs stay tight, and there is a slight bend to my elbow. Just like the Nuggetag, we want that bend to line it up. Here we want the bend to help support. Right, these are your basic striking positions with the hands. Now, there are plenty more, including the single knuckle, where we can set up similar to the straight punch, only now we'll take that middle knuckle out and press that straight down. Almost like a swing. We don't want to push, we want to, almost like you're going to knock on a door. Hitting with the base of the knuckle in line with the phalange. This is not a scrape, this is not a press, so you can even see the middle knuckle there kind of popping out a little bit. Let's see if the camera's quite close enough. You can kind of see that knuckle pop a little bit if we push in. But if we press, it stays nice and solid. But this was the Macuar focusing drill for the first two knuckles, ridge hand, Nuggetag, palm heel, and crane. You can do all of these positions on a standing Macuar as well, but if you don't have access to that, they are awfully hard to fit in your gym bag. You can pick up one of these at any one of your martial arts supply stores or speak with your instructors about having it ordered for you. But thank you all for joining me today. If this video was helpful to you, please hit the like button. It lets us know what videos are working well and which ones are not for future content. As far as I know, like buttons don't really do much for YouTube anymore. So please hit it, gives us lots of feedback, and if you have any questions, comments, concerns, please write those in the description. We'll get back to them as often as possible. Until next time, arigatou gozaimasu.